It also depends on the meal that you're eating. Let's say you did soup before bed. Like if we go back in the day, it was fruit or easy, like the things you gathered, right? And then you would have maybe you catch food, whatever it might be, 1 o'clock or so, 2 o'clock. You'd eat something heavier, and then you might have soup, before bed or like a meager meal. That's going to digest quickly. If we think about that, right? So it's also like when we're thinking about how long is this meal going to take to digest? So I'm going to give you the breakdown. Fruit digests in your stomach in about 30 minutes. Starch, about 60 minutes. Your proteins and your raw veggies, like a salad, probably 3 hours. Could be two for something like eggs, might be even quicker. But if you think about, okay, just think about chewing fish. Easy, right? Easy to chew, break down fish. Think about chewing a steak. It takes some time, right, to chew up that steak and swallow it and digest it. It just takes more time, the thermogenic effect, than to break that down. So, big steak before bed, more hours needed. Now, I can tell you this, it's 3 to 4 hours for most people with just a normal sized dinner. So, yes, that's the window. But you'll actually be able to look at this if you like to track your sleep, which I recommend everybody do. Whoop strap, Apple Watch, Aura Ring, Fitbit, whatever works for you. I'm pretty agnostic in terms of your tracking. I do like the Aura Ring because it's not on your wrist, but whatever works for you. Just do what you're doing now and look at your average over a week. I'm guaranteeing you, if you stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bed, same food, same everything else is equal, your deep sleep will improve, your resting heart rate will come down, and most importantly, your heart rate variability will increase. That means your body's resilience against stress will improve. Like, no doubt about it, you'll see better recovery.
Yeah, no, that's great. Any reason why you mentioned the Oura Ring? Because you added a kind of asterisk caveat there, is like it's not on your wrist. So what about the device on your wrist, or is that just a preference? Get back to the show in a second, guys, but real quick, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Magnesium Breakthrough by Biooptimizers. Do you know if you're getting enough magnesium? Because 4 out of 5 Americans aren't. And that's a big problem because magnesium is involved in more than 300 biochemical reactions in your body. Today, I want to talk to you about the most common signs to look for that could indicate you're magnesium deficient. Listen carefully to the end because there's going to be a special offer happening at the end of this that could be exactly what you need. Are you irritable or anxious? Do you struggle with insomnia? Do you experience muscle cramps or twitches? Do you have high blood pressure? Are you sometimes constipated? There are dozens of symptoms of magnesium deficiency, but these are just a few of the most common ones. Now, here's what most people don't know. Taking just any magnesium supplement won't solve your problem because most supplements use the cheapest kinds that your body can't use or absorb. That's why I exclusively recommend Magnesium Breakthrough by Biooptimizer. It's the only full spectrum magnesium supplement with 7 unique forms of magnesium that your body can actually use and absorb. All Biooptimizer supplements are the best in class, guys. I've been working with and using their products for over 7 years now. For some reason you feel differently, you can get a full refund, no questions asked. They're so confident in this that they're going to offer a 365-day money back guarantee. Just go to biooptimizers.com/FrankRich. And in addition, we're going to give you a discount if you use code RICH10 for 10% off. Once again, guys, visit biooptimizers.com/FrankRich or click the link down there in the show notes and use code RICH10 to receive 10% off your order today.
It's more a preference rolling over. Like I've got, I actually just switched from the Garmin back to the Apple Watch because I wanted simplicity. Even though I love to track and I track everything, I also like simplicity. And for me, I don't like wearing a watch to bed. That's just me. Wearing a ring is super easy that I can wear. But truthfully, whatever works for you is what you should use. Whatever you're going to use consistently is what matters most.
Yeah, it's like what's the best diet? The one that you can stick with the longest, right? What's the best training plan? The ones you're going to be able to consistently do over time. Well, what's the best tracker? The one that you're actually going to utilize the benefits of it. I love that. You talked about delaying caffeine. You know, we've had a lot of talks around morning routines. It's something I've, really, I don't want to say I've mastered in my life, but I'm always looking at, okay, what can I tweak? What can I optimize? Obviously, there's been a lot of research that's come out recently, delaying caffeine 90 minutes, getting that early morning sun exposure, obviously leads to, the melatonin release later on at night. It kind of taps into the adrenaline release later on in the day. So, we talk a lot about get up, hydrate yourself, 32 ounces of water, get outside, try to get some natural sunlight if possible, get some movement going. If you can, get some cold water exposure early on as well. After all that, you're 90 minutes into it, then we look at caffeine. But if we're going to have a meal before that, at what point can we have the caffeine? Because we also want to know we shut it off early as well, like no caffeine afternoon. So are you pro caffeine, anti caffeine? How do you kind of use it with this fasting where we're eating early on in the day?
Well, I'll tell you this, that so first of all, everybody can figure out what the right methodology is for them through at-home lab testing. I know we'll talk about that in the future, but that's the wave of the future. Meaning like you and I are painting scenarios, but we're also just making educated guesses for people based on how you feel. So let me give you a couple examples. If you produce a lot of cortisol early in the morning naturally, the last thing that you need is, and again, so I'm not saying this isn't great. You don't need cold and you don't need caffeine. Cold increases adrenaline, norepinephrine, and dopamine. It is amazing for people who wake up in a low mood, groggy, depressed. They naturally lean that way. But for people like me that are amped when they wake up, like I'm ready. I'm ready for the day right away. Now, it wasn't always that way. I was the exact opposite. I literally had Addison's disease, which is the inability to produce cortisol. So I know how that feels to be a walking zombie. Literally don't wake up until noon. Just never shut off the melatonin and start turning on cortisol. But if I go into a cold plunge or do a fasted workout a little while after waking, I'm exhausting my nervous system. Now, for other people, they're stimulating their nervous system. That's a good thing. And I have many people in my practice like that. So now what about caffeine and what about, that part of it? Still beneficial. Most people get the most benefit from caffeine, though, after they're out of their 6 to 8 a.m. window. So, because that's already your highest cortisol production. So, what you do is you want a meal and then you take in your caffeine or coffee or black tea or whatever you like. And the reason is that the caffeine effect is then blunted. So it almost gets released like tea, like a green tea, because you're using the caffeine to help with digestion, energy for digestion, and then time released after that. But if you put coffee on an empty stomach, you're over time you're straining your nervous system. Now, again, if you're a larger body type, an endomorph body type, or the kapha body type from Ayurveda, and you run a little bit more depressed, and you run a little bit lower mood, and you run your at-home labs and it's low cortisol, well, the caffeine just brings you to baseline. But for people that are revved, you actually want to do like half decaf or all decaf if you enjoy coffee. And so that's what I do. I've kind of learned my body. I do half decaf. I love coffee, very much enjoy it. So I get all my favorite coffees. Like I was just in Costa Rica, get some Costa Rican coffee beans, do a nice pour over, make a little ritual out of it. But it's after my breakfast. So it's blunted if that way.
I mean, you're big on wisdom here, and I know we'll kind of get into your book, The 6,000-Year-Old Secret. As you're sharing this, it's like the coffee after breakfast. It makes me go back to like a child and like spending the summer with my grandparents. Like my grandpa never drank coffee except for after the breakfast meal. Like, and I don't think he knew any of the science behind it. It's just like, sometimes it's like these older generations, like they knew the things that worked because they just worked. It's like he wasn't a coffee drinker except after we had breakfast. He'd have one small cup. It's amazing.
Well, that's what it's there. So it's there as a digestive. It's a bitter essentially, and it's really great at that, and it provides energy. So I'm saying coffee is a supplement, and it's one of the most potent and powerful and amazing supplements in the world. People who drink coffee get more antioxidants. So it's funny, but in a Western-based diet, the majority of antioxidants come from coffee in people's diet. So I'm not saying to take that away from anybody. It is actually the almost the number one thing. So green coffee bean is actually an extract is number one, but coffee is one of the top things to produce something called brain-derived neurotropic factor, BDNF. And that's one of the main things to help with, it's not the only thing, prevention of Alzheimer's and dementia. And so when we look at these things, okay, well, what does it do? It's essentially a powerful antioxidant that helps the brain to scavenge free radicals and to work a little bit on plaque as well that begins to develop. So I'm a big advocate of coffee. It could be decaf, just Swiss water processed because you don't want all the essentially ethanol or gasoline they use to decaffeinate it. But get the antioxidants, get the benefit, blunt the caffeine spike, the stress spike on your nervous system by just having it after a meal.